Hey everyone, it's Ted Carr here with Karen Ranzi. And Karen, you are in Costa Rica right now, is that right?
I am in beautiful Costa Rica. It's a paradise here.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like
Yeah.
it. You're one of the few people who's like traveling outside of their district, so to speak. And
Yeah.
it must be nice being in Costa Rica right now.
Beautiful, and the tropical fruit and being outdoors in nature. It's everything that I believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, cool. Well, you are part of the Raw Vegan Bundle, which is why I want to have this call with you here today. And I'm curious, like, what is it that you're offering in the bundle?
So for this bundle, I usually just offer one of my recipe books, but for this time, I offered my hormone boost plan, which is a raw foods, weight loss, hormone, and gut health plus recipe plan.
Hmm.
And so I have some really important information in there on how to lose weight naturally through a low fat, raw vegan approach, as well as how to balance hormones. And through doing this whole process, we are naturally creating good gut bacteria. And so I talk about how important that is because most of our body is filled with microbiota, with fungi, with bacteria, even with viruses. Many people don't realize that something like 70% of the human body is not our human cells.
Bacteria.
Yes, it's bacteria. And so that's my point for this book. And also because people love recipes so much, and because this bundle is going to be loaded with recipes, I filled the book with really delicious, healthy recipes that are free of oil, that are relatively low in fat. And if they're not low in fat, then I explain to people that they should share the recipe or bring it for a holiday, that
Right.
it's a special treat.
So,
But all of them, the recipes are whole food plants.
right, and you've been on a raw vegan path now for how many years?
Well, I went vegan in 1989, but that didn't completely solve all my health problems. I had severe cystic acne for 25 years, more than 25 years,
Wow.
and many other health issues, including irritable bowel syndrome. And the cystic acne was the worst, but terrible insomnia and menstrual, premenstrual issues, just across the board, loads of hormonal imbalances. And once I went vegan and gave up the dairy, that was already huge. And that was back in 1989. So I'm 32 years a vegan. And I've been vegetarian since I'm 17. That was 50 years ago.
Wow. So,
And yeah.
so you had all these health issues, you cut out the dairy, and that was huge, you said. And then you went raw vegan thereafter. And did you find more benefits from being raw vegan?
Yes, and that's exactly what I was gonna say next, is that in 1994, 27 years ago, I went raw vegan. It was different than anything I'd ever done, but my son, who was very young at that time, only 3 years old, the first 3 years of his life, he had severe asthma and chronic ear infections. And we did everything possible to try to turn that around, even going whole food, plant based, but it was mostly cooked.
Mm.
And when the doctors told me that he was going to be on an inhaler for the rest of his life, that's when I hit the roof. And I said, there's no way that that's going to happen. And I went to raw food and
Wow.
fruits and vegetables. They did the job, cleaned
Wow.
them out in about 10 months.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, there's so many stories like that, hey, of people who they go vegan and there's some noticeable benefits for sure, but just not quite enough to, like you say, fully heal, fully clean out. And then once people, discover raw veganism, maybe through you or through someone else, or just even by accident, They run out
Yeah.
of cooked food and all they're left with is some bananas. They eat that and they feel like $1 million, right? Um, Now, it's Marco, right?
Marco.
And has Marco ever gone, like, so he had asthma, and then on a whole food plant-based diet he still had asthma, right? But then when he went raw vegan after about 10 months, that asthma totally cleared up. Did he ever introduce cooked foods back in and notice negative effects after that, or was he cleared for good?
Oh, yes. Not only cooked food, but processed food. And he was raised completely vegan, but in college, he was talked into eating animal food as well. And he didn't feel good, and he didn't come home after college feeling well.
Wow.
So he went back to a mostly raw food diet.
Yeah,
So he eats a lot of raw food now. I'd say he's like 90% raw.
right, right. Because if he's not, there's like negative effects, right?
Definitely, and he's very aware of that.
Right.
So, it has had its repercussions when he's gone back and forth. And over the years, he's 30 years old now. I think same age as you. and he realizes how important this is. And it's also helpful for him to have the support, such as going to events like the Woodstock Freak Festival, and also even seeing the people who I coach with and seeing all of the healing benefits that they have.
Right.
So
So
that's also been something that he's grown with through the years, is just being in my house and seeing what I eat and having that model. I feel that actions are much more noticeable, and people take them in more clearly than words. I used to threaten and bribe my kids, and and over the years I stopped that, and I find that they're much more receptive to just me being me
right.
and setting a good example,
Right.
a
See, and
good
yeah,
health
you also have
example.
plenty of books out there about, raising healthy children on a raw, plant-based diet, which is very helpful. But with your bundle, it's primarily focused, like you said, on the hormonal side of things. Um,
Yes,
and is that more helpful for women or equally helpful for guys as well?
I think it's helpful for both. It seems primarily I work with a lot of women, especially more women. Many more women have thyroid issues, and that comes from all of the hormones in animals that we cannot synthesize in our human bodies. We can't handle their hormones, and we end up with these really high estrogen levels from eating animal based foods.
Right.
And so that's part of what I talk about in there. But because I want it to be a really fun, uplifting book, I talk about it, but then I have a lot of really fun, easy, uncomplicated. I am like Miss Uncomplicated, very easy recipes with beautiful pictures so that you know what it should look like when
Cool.
it's done,
So
and just making this lifestyle really easy and giving people the opportunity to create the health that they want. And it all really starts with a healthy gut microbiome,
boom.
because if we have a healthy gut, then the rest of the body is healthy also. I mean, even earlier on when I wrote my book, Creating Healthy Children, that book came out as a result of, I mean, why did my son heal from this autoimmune condition of asthma? Well, he healed because we started eating plant foods, whole plant foods, fresh with high fiber to improve the gut. And that, with the gut healing, it affected the rest of the body. And
Right.
that happens with skin. I mean, that happened with my cystic acne. After 25 years of cystic acne, I had beautiful skin,
Yeah.
and still have, because I've stayed raw for 27 years. Uh,
So your bundle contribution, then it'll help people navigate the raw plant food world so that they can optimize their hormonal health and they can have perfect hormones for life.
that's that's the key.
Yeah.
That is the key. And I think that if they follow the information in that book, that it can lead them to wonderful places
Right.
for losing weight effortlessly and naturally. And I just want to say that it may not come off overnight. It's a natural process. And and people need to be patient when they're going through these changes, because the body first needs to detoxify,
Yeah.
and then the hormones start to come into balance. And when they do, that's when the weight is released.
Wow.
That's when the thyroid starts to function well, and the hormones are balanced.
It seems weight loss and detoxification, they really do go hand in hand, right? Like when someone's got excess weight, they invariably have excess toxins in their system too, because toxins live in fat cells, right? And once someone starts to, release toxins or release the fat, if things start to really work in harmony, and they start to lean out effortlessly. That's why when you go to the Woodstock Fruit Fest, like 95% of the people there are like pretty fit looking, pretty lean, just because they're living on a fruit diet, or, a primarily fruit based diet. Um, it's very rare
Yes,
to see someone even slightly overweight eating a fruit based diet,
that's
like most,
right.
most people are just like at that perfect body weight year round effortlessly. Um,
Yes, and it's amazing how eating fruits and salads,
mhm,
that what it does with the high fiber that it has,
right.
with the water that's in that food.
Yeah.
When you cook, you deplete the water. But when you keep your food fresh and raw, it has all the water content. And when you think of all the water rich fruits, I mean, watermelon is 96% water. That's almost like drinking water. So, you're just getting constantly flushed. Like it's not enough to be drinking 8 glasses of water and eating all cooked food.
Yeah.
I have people telling me that they're dehydrated and they're drinking all this water.
Yeah. Well,
Got to get it in your food.
yeah, I remember living in Thailand, and I was out for these big bike rides, big big bike rides under the sun, and I'd stop and get some water, and it didn't really do much for me. But then I stopped and grabbed like a dragon fruit and bit into the juicy ripe dragon fruit, and instantly my thirst was quenched. Because of like there's a lot more to hydration than just water, right? There's like the electrolytes, there's the minerals, and there's the nutrients. And so then I started not even, stopping for water on these bike rides. I just stop at the fruit stop, get some fresh, juicy fruit, and then keep riding my bike. So yeah, you know,
Water is key.
yeah,
It's another one. It's another key principle
living water
on
from
living this way.
yeah,
Yeah, so the fiber, the water, and the nutrient density of the food,
yeah, yeah,
and eating in such great variety. You could eat different fruits and vegetables 365 days of the year.
yeah, yes, yeah,
People tell me that my diet is limited. I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? I eat different fruits and vegetables every single day."
right. And in your bundle contribution, you have these different recipes, like you said, they're ultra simple, but still ultra delicious, and easy to put together, right? So people can create these beautiful meals that not only look beautiful but allow you to feel beautiful, and allow you to look beautiful when you eat them, right? So have you ever been a part of a bundle like this before, Karen?
I have been a part of many bundles,
Yeah.
but most of them are plant-based bundles. And this one is a raw food bundle. So I'm really grateful that this has been organized and that so many people are involved. It's really incredible the number of people and new ebooks,
Yeah.
all focused on raw food. It's the first time. So it's super exciting,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
really exciting, especially for me, 27 years raw vegan, who used to dream about having community for my kids, because back in 1994 it was me and my kids, and we were the ones going out into the world and setting that model for other families.
Right.
But now we have this whole huge community, and to have this raw food bundle, and especially at a time where I think people aren't getting together as much,
Totally.
to have this offering,
Yeah.
it's just going to be so exciting and lead so many people in a new positive direction. It's
Yeah.
really a big thrill to be a part of this.
I think one of the biggest keys to success in any field is having mentors, right? Having models to learn from. And I remember when I first got into raw foods, I would learn from like dozens of different raw foodists, watch their interviews, read their books. And so, and the way I found out about them was I'd have to go and I have to like find like one at a time here and there, right? But this bundle now gives people like an instant snapshot of like all these really cool people who are doing epic things in the raw food world. So I think it'd be a great place. Even if someone doesn't open any of the ebooks inside the bundle, they just buy the bundle just to see the like directory, you know, of names, and they can just go and copy paste all those names and search them up on YouTube. Like that'll be worth the investment right there.
Definitely,
That alone is
definitely.
worth
And
the
not
investment.
only that, but even if they don't have the time right now, or even if they're not quite interested yet, but they're questioning,
Yeah.
they're curious. If they have it, it's food for thought.
Boom.
And any time at all, next year,
Yep.
all of a sudden, something might trigger that desire, or they might be interested in how can I build up my immune system?
Yeah.
Maybe some of these tips, some of these recipes will give me an immune boost,
Boom.
and it'll be there for them. And that's what's really great about this.
Definitely. That's a good point. Yeah. Even if someone's like not quite ready to do anything now with their health, they can get it now while the deal's still hot and then use it 6 months or even 6 years from now, uh, when the information is still going to be relevant. You know?
It's always going to be relevant.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I've been doing this for 27 years. And 27 years ago, even when I wrote my first book, well, I wrote my first book. It was a process of 7 years, and it came out in 2010, Creating Healthy Children. And I have to say, like, nothing in that book has really changed as
Yeah.
far as the primary principles of raw food.
Right.
And the recipes, everything is still very clear that it's all what builds a good immune system.
Boom.
And that's what people want. They want that for themselves, they want that for their families. And putting this information out there is, I think, one of the best things that we can do for humanity right now.
Yeah. I think if somebody wants to master the raw food game, master their health, this bundle, like just this bundle alone is like, you know, how many different contributions are there? Like 60 or something, or 50, or I think it's maybe 50 contributions in there, like 50 different resources all in one place for like $50. It's insane. Like someone can go and get like a college degree, university degree on like, you know, raw food education just by buying this bundle if they go through it all. So, um,
That's
very
right. For
cool.
somebody who's really interested, it's going to be a huge education.
Yeah. Insane spend of $50, $1 per per ebook or course, because some people are putting courses in there too, not just ebooks. So it'd be huge.
Wow.
And then, like I said, even just having the list of names in there, going and researching all the different people, seeing how they're doing the diet, because everyone does the diet slightly differently, right? Some people do it ultra low fat, some people do it medium fat, some people do high fat, some people do like gourmet raw, other people just do purely fruits and salads, other people don't do any greens at all. Like there's just so many different types, right? And so it's good to go in there and pick and choose and see which things you like and which things you don't like, and
Yeah.
then
And it's interesting to see how people are successful.
yeah,
And you can try different things and see what works best for you.
yeah,
So I think it's good to have different people's views and
totally,
then listen to your own body.
totally. Very cool. Karen, well, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, Ted. It was
I-
wonderful to see you and great to give out this empowering information.
yeah, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. I'm remembering what it's like to be in Costa Rica now by seeing your backdrop. It,
When were you here?
I was there about, oh man, maybe 3, 4 years ago with Doug. I was with Doug.
I saw Doug the other night. I went
Oh
to
yeah.
see him before he left in
Oh
Ovita.
wow. Yeah, yep, yep, yep. Very cool, very cool. Lucky you.
Yeah, it was a great evening. We made a potluck, him and Shari, who was in his retreat, and we went to a mainstream potluck.
Wow.
And we brought our fruit and our salads, and like everybody was wowed by them. It was so awesome.
Wow. Yeah. If you and Doug were to walk into a mainstream potluck, you and Doug would stand out, like everyone would be like, "Whoa, what's going on with these two people? Like, you're different for sure."
Yeah,
Awesome.
everybody was really enjoying the food, and it was really great to just go in there and not to say too much, but just
Right.
to present this really nourishing food.
Yeah. Karen, where can people find you online?
Well, my websites are feelfabulouswithfood.com and also superhealthychildren.com. And I have a free masterclass on how to become a health coach in the vegan niche without going back to school.
Hmm.
That's at bit.ly/Karen class.
bit.ly/Karen class for a free in-depth training, in-depth masterclass on how to get started as a health coach, coaching people with your knowledge as a vegan. That's awesome. And what about Instagram, Karen?
So on Instagram, I'm at super healthy raw.
At Super Healthy Raw. Beautiful. All right. Well, if you made it this far in the interview, you made it to the very end, go ahead and give Karen a follow on the Instagram, and then head on over to bit.ly/Karen class for an in-depth training. And if you want more information, she's got her websites there as well. So that's it for now. Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you again, Ted.
Ciao for now. And
Bye,
good one.
everybody.
Bye.